Hi everyone, I'm Videobob, and today we're going to be talking about Delorean and its cold start and hot start common issues and how to fix it. I want to start this video off by saying I am not a Delorean expert and I am not a Delorean mechanic. But here at Bob's Prop Shop, we build replicas of the Delorean time machine, and we've done almost 40 of them. And I've had so many of these cars run through our shop over the last 15 years. I've been owning DeLorean since, well, 2003 was my first car. And when you have that many cars, you tend to get familiar with, well, how they work and how they don't. So if you own a DeLorean and you've been trying to figure out some of these issues, I'm going to help you out. Now, let's first talk about some of the basics. Do you have spark? Well, if you have spark, meaning your coil is working, the electricity that's going to your fuel pump is working, you have plenty of power, assuming that you have fuel, assuming that your fuel pump is pumping fuel out, and you're trying to start the car and the car won't start. But if you take some starting fluid and spray it into your intake and the car does start, well, that's called the cold start issue. And we're going to talk about how to test for that and maybe how to fix it. Then there's another problem that the car has, which is called the hot start issue, which in a way is sort of related to the cold start. So let's talk about this item here. This is your cold start injector. This is basically a fuel injector that is temporarily turned on when you first turn on the key to give a little spritz of fuel into the intake. Now, this thing is temporarily activated by the thermo time switch, which you'll find located to the left here of the water pump. Basically, it works like a thermostat, and when the engine's cold, it's closed. It sends power to a relay that momentarily sends power to your cold start injector, shooting some fuel in, letting you start the car. If you're trying to start the car and the car doesn't start, but it will start if you spray starting fluid or gas into your intake, it's because that's not coming on. So it's either one of two things. Either the injector isn't working or the thermo time switch is bad. This is how you test. What you're going to want to do is take the little blue connector off of the cold start injector. Now down below there on the left, you'll see your warm-up regulator. Take the similar looking gray plug off and plug it into your cold start. Then turn the key on and see if the car starts. If the car starts, immediately turn it off. Don't leave it running, because that's a constant power and it'll continue pumping fuel into your motor and flood it out. But it'll show you that that injector is working. So what you're going to want to do is switch them back. Then check your thermo time switch, which is over there. Check to see if the connections are good, if it's even plugged in. This is what happened to me the other day. Had this similar problem and realized that the plug had simply come off down there. So check to make sure that everything is plugged in, and then you'll go about figuring out which one of these components is bad. Very rarely do these things actually go bad, and the parts are very hard to get. Now, this will just lead you down the path of at least finding out what you're going to need so that you can get all of this working again. Now, I mentioned earlier about what's called the hot start problem. The hot start problem is sort of related. Deep underneath the car in the middle of the frame is a big green canister that is your fuel accumulator. And it has a diaphragm in it that maintains fuel pressure. Well, when that thermotime switch is hot, it doesn't inject fuel because it doesn't want to flood the motor, because you should have fuel pressure built up from your little accumulator, and that would start the car. So if you can't start the car when it's hot, you could try the exact same trick and see if that works. And if it does, well, now you know that you need another fuel accumulator, which is deep under the car. Chances are you should just replace those every few years or whatever anyway, because these things go bad. That's just how it is. It's a maintenance item, and it is a consumable and something that needs to be replaced. So I hope that this helps you a little bit if you're a DeLorean owner. This car is about to be turned into a DeLorean time machine, which is what we do here. But we need to make sure the cars are running for our customers before they leave. This car already belongs to a customer, and we fixed it for him, but we need to be able to move it in and out and move it around, so we need it to work. This particular car, which is unrelated to this fuel issue, stopped running and lost spark. But it was simply because one of the wires was just cruddy going to the coil over here, the original Bosch coil, and it was just loose, and we tightened it up and then it started. Hey, listen, if you are a Delorean mechanic or a professional and you know these Peugeot, Renault, Volvo engines and this Bosch K-tronic fuel system and all this stuff, and I missed something or maybe I got it wrong, please tell me in the comments. If you have any other questions or comments, please put them in the comments. And if you like content about the DeLorean and the DeLorean time machine, Back to the Future and that kind of stuff, make sure to subscribe. I'll be looking forward to making some new videos for you in the future. Thanks everybody. I'm Videobob.